On this installment of the Negative Nomad, we're going to Hawaii and the island of Oahu. We'll check out all the popular spots, the bums on Waikiki Beach, and the high-end shopping in the area. Hike up to Diamond Head to brave the crowds. Head over to Pearl Harbor for a full day and honor those who gave it all. It'll also include a tour of the USS Missouri, the Aviation Museum, the Ford Island Control Tower, and the USS Bowfin. We'll also check out one of the underrated places to visit, the Punch Bowl, and take a tour around the island to see some of the local parks and beaches. Full disclosure on why I decided to come to Oahu. I wanted to come see Pearl Harbor. But let's start at one of the most famous beaches in the world, Waikiki.
There are so many bums down here. If you come out early in the morning, you're going to definitely see them. Later in the day, when most of the tourists are out, they'll blend in a little bit more and you won't see them as much.
The beaches aren't the only place you're going to find the bums. You're going to find them in the nearby shopping district, rummaging through the garbage cans. On this day, I came out a little early to do a tour of the shopping district.
So why did I get up so early in the morning to show you guys a bunch of shops that are closed? Well, because it's the easiest time to film and I don't feel like fighting crowds. Starting probably around 10 o'clock, streets and the malls are going to be packed. And if this is your kind of scene, hey, you're going to love it.
They had all the fancy shops. Tiffany's, Rolex, Louis Vuitton, Valentino, and many, many more. Don't worry, you middle class folks, they have shopping for you too. Now this is a place you're going to learn to love.
Short thing about an ABC store. And I was skeptical that I would probably never go into one of these stores or use one of these stores. And let me tell you, since I've been here, I've been in these stores at least probably once a day.
Expect some high-ass prices. 2 reasons. Inflation, and you're on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that has to have everything shipped in on shipping containers.
You know, I guess there is a Hawaii for everybody. If you want the big city life, the shopping, the tourist traps, the trinkets, crowded streets and crowded beaches, Honolulu might be the place for you. If you want seclusion and isolation, peace and quiet, well, you might want to choose a different island. Or if you do come to Oahu, you can at least choose the North Shore, where it's a little bit slower pace.
One thing I missed out on was I didn't get the full immersion of the North Shore, but I was able to take a road tour through the area. We took our rental car around the island, stopped off at several parks and some roadside beaches. I will say this, Hawaii has the nicest and the cleanest parks, and the locals really utilize them to the fullest extent. On the next day, we drove out to one of the most popular places in Honolulu, Diamond Head. It's an old extinct volcanic crater that was once a military outpost and is currently a state park. You're going to need an advance ticket for the day you want to visit. You definitely want to come early in the morning if you want to try and avoid all the crowds. There's not very many people at first, but the higher you climb, the crowds will increase.
Didn't have time to get up today and do the Stairmaster. So decided to come to Diamond Head and do it here instead. Lose a couple pounds.
Once you get to the top, you'll get a nice view of Honolulu if you can push some of the people out of the way.
From the sounds of things, some people need some oxygen. There are some people getting their ass kicked on this trail. Not that it's ass kick worthy. Now let's just say this. I've seen old people hike this thing, and they're not struggling. I would also tell you that have a lot of patience. And the worst part is these huge groups of people that clog up the trail, make it hard to get by. They're screaming at their kids in funny languages, and they make it really unenjoyable. All you want to do is get to the top, take your picture, shoot your video, and get the hell out.
On the following day, we visited Pearl Harbor. You're going to need all day to see all of the museums and the displays. You'll also need an advance ticket to visit the USS Arizona. We got to the park just after opening time around 7 o'clock. The crowds were light, but the standby line for the Arizona quickly filled up. While waiting for our tour for the Arizona, we checked out some nearby displays. When it was time for our tour, we got a short safety briefing and we shuffled off to our waiting boat. After a short and very pleasant ride across the harbor, we arrive at the Arizona Memorial.
About a 30-minute visit, and we're going. All right, so we got here right at 7 o'clock, walked in. We saw a movie for about 20 minutes before the Arizona tour. Since then, we've seen 2 of the exhibits down here, and it's taken about 2 hours. So moving right along, doing pretty good.
Once we got back, we caught a bus to go see the USS Missouri. First off, what's so important about the USS Missouri? Mainly, it's on this ship that Japan signed their unconditional surrender during World War II. They even have a big brass marker on the deck to memorialize the actual location. To be honest, I found this ship underwhelming outside of the historical significance. I would have assumed that a ship this large would have more areas that would have been open to the tourists. Mostly what you get to see is the dining areas, a few offices, staterooms, and bunk rooms for the men who sailed on these ships. You're only going to get to see a few guns and some critical areas like the bridge. After that, we stopped off at the cantina for a drink and a snack.
Nice cool beverage.
Then it was off to the Air Museum. They have some nice period planes on display and some really interesting stores for some of the artifacts. Came across this F-16 from my own time in the Air Force when I was stationed at Kunsan Air Base. For those of you stationed at the Coon, if you know, you know. The Air Control Tower has a separate fee and tickets are bought at the Air Museum. When you get to the top, you'll get a brief demonstration of the attack at Pearl Harbor and some of its history. Back down and back across the harbor to the USS Bowfin. This is another tour that doesn't take too long because World War II era subs are small and some parts of it is off limits. You're going to enter the ship right into the torpedo room. The sub is narrow and the doorways through the bulkheads are short and narrow. Not a good place for a fat guy. I definitely have some new respect for Navy guys on subs. On day 4, we drove to the Punch Bowl. And what is the Punch Bowl? It's a veteran cemetery for past and modern day military servicemen. Actually, if you're a fan of the original Hawaii Five-0, you've seen this place in the opening credits. At the main building, they have these huge murals of not only the attack at Pearl Harbor, but many of the attacks throughout the Pacific campaigns during World War II.
You always should come and pay your respects to those who served. I try to make a point to do it. Very, very nice cemetery. They have some phenomenal views of the city from up here. Phenomenal. Oh, you have to come up here. This is great.
If you want that aerial view of the city, but you can't or don't want to make that hike to Diamond Head, come here instead. I found this interesting person laid to rest here that most of you don't know by his real name, including myself. Harold Sakata. We know him better as the henchman Odd Job in Goldfinger. I'm always amazed on how many celebrities served in the military. Not that it's that exciting, but this is where I stayed. Waikiki Shore Condominiums. I got this room via Airbnb. The reason we decided to stay here is because we didn't want to stay at a resort, paying exorbitant prices and paying all kind of stupid resort fee. We came here because we could save some money. here is rather narrow. There were a couple food places on the last floor of the condos and right on the beach. Once a week they have a free fireworks show right on the beach. And luckily for us, we had a front row seat right from our balcony. On the following night, we were able to catch a partial view of the luau at the Hilton Hotel. Anyone on the beach could watch from the sidewalk, but you aren't allowed on the property. We attended a luau on a previous night at another property. It was exactly like this one and exactly like the one we watched years ago on a previous trip. So if this is a second vacation for you and you don't want to see a repeat, you may want to do something else. Thanks for watching and check out one of our other videos.